Ciao, and welcome to another episode of BuzzPucks. I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
Did you forget?
I really did.
And we're here back again once again to talk to you about Week 7
Woo!
of the NHL.
There's
And
things
everything
happened.
that happened in it, from teams getting sold to Brendan Lemieux taking a bite out of the Kings.
I was gonna
I beat you to it.
How did you steal that from me? I was gonna start with the Pacific.
I almost said take a bite out of crime, but it wouldn't have really made that
He's
sense.
the crime.
He is the crime. Anyway, we'll
Take a
talk
bite
about,
out of the Senators.
I'm sure we'll talk a while about Brendan Lemieux. All right, what are we drinking this week, Clay?
This week we are drinking DC Brau.
DC Brau.
Brau.
Brau, I think is how it's said.
Yeah, BRAU. DC Brau.
Brau Pilsner from Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. There are very few D.C. breweries.
You know, it's weird. I have noticed from looking for beers for this show that some cities just don't have any breweries in them, and it's like, wow, that's really annoying.
Yeah, right.
For us specifically.
Let's
right?
go.
Hails.
Brah.
Shut up, car outside. I don't know if that got picked up on mic, but
I heard it slightly. All right.
Ah.
I want to check something.
What did you check? Are you worried about the beer's contents?
God, no.
Alright, well, while Clay is looking at the beers for some reason, I guess I'll start us off in Week 7. And we're going to start with, they have been the class of the division, but they're one of the top teams of the division, the Carolina Hurricanes, who actually did not have a very good week this week. Are you paying attention? Stop looking at the beer.
They had a bad week.
They didn't have has been their worst week so far.
What, they lost 2 games?
They actually lost 3 games. They went 1-2-1 this week. They lost in overtime to San Jose. They lost to Seattle. They did beat Philadelphia, and then they lost to Washington. Their overall record is 15-4-1, so it's still a very good record.
Yeah, no,
they were 0 for 11 on the power play this week, which is not good.
Nope.
The games between San Jose and Seattle were very close, and I guess the Washington game was fairly close too. So if you had potted a couple of those power play goals, you might have won one of those games.
I'll bring this up in Calgary's defense. Carolina's defense. Woof, real quick. Seattle also beat.
Oh, yes, that's true. Go ahead.
Seattle also beat Florida this week, and then last week they beat Washington.
Yeah.
So they beat some of the top teams.
They beat the 3 top teams in the East in a row. Last week and this week so far. What was that?
I don't know.
Well, I'm sure we'll figure it out at some point. Anyway, sorry. They were 11 for 13 on the penalty kill this week as well. Their top player was Anthony DeAngelo, who had a goal and 3 assists this week. And
I saw that.
In a not great week for Carolina, he had a fairly good week. No major injuries to speak of for Carolina, so that's always good. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Didn't have a great week, but they're, still, their head is pretty far above water.
Yeah,
100%.
So
they can take a bad week or 2 and still be fine. Moving on to Columbus, who had a much better week. They were 3-1 this week. They beat Buffalo. They shut out Winnipeg. They beat Vancouver, and then they lost to St. Louis.
They got stomped by St. Louis, didn't they?
They lost 6-3 to St. Louis.
Okay.
I don't remember if any of those were empty net goals, because sometimes empty net goals can make games look worse than they actually
100%.
were. They were their overall record is now 12-7, still really good for Columbus, especially because we thought they were going to be the bottom feeder in this division. Now, things might still shake out that way, but it doesn't look like it right now.
Right word, but for this division.
For this division, just last in this division, but clearly that's not seemingly what's going to be happening. So, they were 3 for 11 on the power play. I don't remember if I said that or not, and they were 10 for 12 on the penalty kill this week. I could not pick one player to be their top player because Boquist, Domi, and Gavrikov, who I had never heard of before this week, all had 5 points.
I have a couple teams with guys.
Yeah, I think I have
same
at least one more
stats.
that I gave multiple people the top player. Sometimes you just can't pick between all of them. Sometimes the entire team has a good week,
Exactly.
But again, no major injuries to speak of for Columbus this week. Like I said, I would love it for everyone to play all 82 games in every season.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that's not how it works. Stupid injuries. New Jersey went 1-1-1 this week. They lost in a shootout to Minnesota. They lost to Nashville outright. And then they beat Philly
Good.
last night.
Good for them.
Good. That brings their overall record to 9-6-4, which is, again, not great. They're technically under 500, but pretty close to being 500.
It looks nice with that 9 over the 6.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, everyone in this division except for one team is doing pretty good now. They've either righted the ship from their slow start, or they've just been kind of consistently either very good or like kind of middle of the pack. New Jersey's kind of middle of the pack. They were 0 for 8 on the power play and 9 for 9 on the penalty kill.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. I gave their top player to Andreas Janssen, who had 2 goals and 2 assists in those 3 games. Very good week for him. Unfortunately, Jesper Boquist did get put on IR with an upper body injury.
Gotcha.
So he's out at least a week. We'll see if it goes farther than that.
I did not look at any injuries this week.
Oh well.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's okay. Stuff happens. It's been kind of a trying week for Clay and myself. We won't go too much into it, but sorry if we're a little low energy this week. Moving on to the Islanders, who were 0-2 this week, which brings their overall record to 5-10-2, which I think is one of the more surprising ones.
Yeah, no.
Now, you can blame some of that on COVID. You can maybe blame some of that on the 15-game road trip that they started the season on, but at a certain point, you would think the Islanders would start riding the ship, but unfortunately, it won't be until at least the 1st of December that they play another game.
They got shut down.
Because they're at least their next 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the game that they were supposed to play, I believe, last night against the Rangers got postponed, and then I think the game that they were supposed to play against Philly tomorrow got postponed.
Right.
They have a lot of COVID issues. They postponed those games like right after they lost to the Rangers, and then they got shut out by the Penguins, and then like the day after they lost to the Penguins, they
shut it down.
Shut it down, and I was like, why'd you make them play that game against Pittsburgh?
Well, that was the same.
There was already talk about.
There was the same when Ottawa got shut down. Like
True.
they had played like Pittsburgh and Montreal. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
like
I
why
think so, yeah.
why play
like
those
why?
games?
Just it's fine, you know. What are you gonna do? I mean,
Right.
it's the NHL sometimes does not make sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Top player, none. They were 0-2, and
Yeah, no, you don't
scored 1 goal in those 2 games, and yeah, a lot of COVID, unfortunately for them. Moving on to the Rangers, they had a pretty good week. Like I said, they only played 2 games this week because the one against the Islanders got postponed, but they were 2-0.
Keep getting postponed. This is their second game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Ottawa games got postponed
Mhm.
too. That's right. I forgot about that. They did beat the Islanders earlier in the week, 4-1, and then they also beat Boston.
They are looking good.
Yeah, the Rangers
Just
look really good.
They look really
so
good.
maybe we questioned some of their moves in the offseason, but it seems to be working.
They're
so,
scary looking team this year.
Yeah, they're looking good. I would say that
They only looked bad the first 2 games, and that was it.
Yeah, bad. They really only looked bad against the Capitals in that game that everybody was like overhyping.
Right.
But yeah, they look good. They're 13-4-3 overall. I think 3rd in the division currently, solidly over 4th place. And the only thing that I might critique about them right now is their younger guys still need to kind of show
Pick
up
it
a
up,
little bit
yeah.
more. I don't know their stats offhand, but I know Lafreniere and Kakko aren't doing much yet.
Not too much, no.
They have plenty of time. What are we only? 20 games into the season, so they have 62 more to pick it up. But
They do have a handful of points, but you want
yeah, they're
more
not.
from them.
It's not that they haven't scored at all, but you would like it if they picked it up. As for their top player, it was Shesterkin, who was 2-0 with a 150 goals against and a 947 save percentage. So real good week for Shesterkin.
Yeah, he did great.
One thing I did want to mention in the Boston game. Boy, has Brad Marchand had a week.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
We'll talk about him a little bit more.
There was a reason I wanted to do the Pacific first, and then Boston.
I think we have more talking points about Brad Marchand, but there was a little thing between him and Artemi Panarin in the game. In case you don't know, Panarin is Russian, and he has actually been outspoken against the Russian government and the things that they're doing, which is like kind of dangerous for him and his family.
He had a whole thing last year.
I think he actually took time off to do whatever he needed to do to make sure that his family was
safe,
taken care of. And so I think it was right after he scored in the Boston game, Panarin did. And I believe, I don't know if it was right after the goal or there was a scrum, Marchand said something along the lines of, "No one in Russia even likes you." Or something something just kind of generally shitty like that.
A normal chirp.
Yeah.
A normal chirp. But then Panarin threw his glove at him.
Not a funny situation. Panarin did have a funny response. He threw his glove at him. And I believe the NHL fined him $5,000, which is like nothing. That would be a lot for me.
His response was, "It's a good thing
they paid me $11.5 million, so I can pay $5,000." But it was kind of funny if you watch the video. He just kind of throws his glove at Marchand, and the ref is standing right there, like, "What are you doing?"
I think Marchand was actually more upset that the ref wouldn't let him keep Panarin's glove.
Oh, Brad Marchand. No major injuries to speak of for the Rangers, thankfully. Moving on to Philly, who had a very bad week. They were 0-3-1 this week. Philly's been struggling the last couple of weeks. After looking like okay to start the season out, they have not looked good the last couple of weeks. Their overall record is 8-8-4, which is they're not one of the bottom teams in this division right now.
Not what you want if you want the playoffs.
No. They got shut out by Tampa Bay. They lost in overtime to Florida. They got whooped pretty good by Carolina, and then they lost to New Jersey, like I mentioned before. They were 0-9 on the power play, 10-11 on the penalty kill, so at least their penalty kill was okay this week. I didn't give the top player to anybody. You can't if you don't win a game, I can't really give you a top player, you know. And as for injuries, now this might explain a little bit of it. Derek Brassard is out for a week-ish with a lower body injury. Kevin Hayes is out. I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think it was for a very long period of time. He was just out for, I think, maybe this weekend, the start of the week. And then Thompson is week to week with a shoulder injury.
Gotcha.
So injuries suck, but that was a sucky week for Philly.
Yeah.
Moving on to Pittsburgh, who had a better week. 3-1 this week. They beat Winnipeg. They beat Vancouver. They shut out the Islanders, like I mentioned, and then they lost a really frustrating game to Montreal.
Well, Montreal game was the payback for the 6-0 loss.
Yeah, I could see that. Jake Allen really stood on his head in that game, too. Yeah, he played very well. I don't think there was even a score until the late second period or the third period. Like, no goals at all.
That save from Rodriguez?
Oh, yeah, he robbed Evan Rodriguez at a certain point. But in either direction, 3-1, they're 10-7-4 overall, so technically under 500, but like right around 500. Coupling this with last week, the Penguins are starting to right the ship.
Yep.
I gave Tristan Jarry top player of the week for them again, because he was 3-0 with a .67 goals against average.
Oh, that's very good.
He only let up 2 goals in 3 games. And 979 save percentage with 1 shutout. He was very good against the Islanders. Unfortunately, Brian Rust has got put on injured reserve with a lower body injury. It seemingly happened in warm-ups before, I'm going to say, the Islanders game. Mm-hmm. He was out there skating, and then he just left.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, uh-oh.
Yeah, right.
So
those non-contact ones, which you hate.
Although, in good injury news, actually, today, Evgeny Malkin skated for the first time with the team at practice. In a non-contact injury, but this is the first time that he is back at practice. So that's a good sign for them.
Yeah, that's very good.
Also with the Penguins, I think I mentioned this last week, but the sale has been finalized between Fenway Sports Group.
Yep.
Fenway Sports Group and Mario Lemieux and Ron Burkle, who were the major owners. Now, actually, I can't remember if I mentioned this last week, but Mario Lemieux was always going to stay like a minority owner in the team and stay with them to help with like hockey operations and stuff like that. But as far as I had heard, Ron Burkle was going to be out. But after it got announced today, Ron Burkle actually stayed as a minority owner as well. So nothing is changing. They're not changing any executive staff. Maybe they'll change something in the off season, but I don't think Fenway sees any reason to change anything at the moment.
No.
They just wanted a hockey franchise.
Yep.
And they got one for $900 million.
That's good for hockey.
Yeah, that's really
good for hockey.
That's good for hockey. So that's good for the Penguins too. Yeah. So great.
Yeah.
Moving on to Washington, who had a very good week. 3-0. They beat Montreal. They beat Florida. They beat Carolina. So they beat the other two top Eastern teams and Montreal. Their overall record is 14-3-5. They were 3 for 9 on the power play, 9 for 9 on the penalty kill. Alex Ovechkin was their top player, 4 goals and 3 assists on the week. That old Russian man is very good.
He is tied with.
He's on pace for 70 goals.
He's tied with McDavid, who's having like a career year for points.
Yeah. So.
And he's 36.
Show him how it's done over here. Old man over.
Old man strength.
It was like, I ain't out of the league yet, youngins. But he did have, I believe, the one power play goal in the Florida game was scored by Ovechkin. And that, I didn't even realize this, puts him one power play goal away from tying Dave Andreychuk for number 1 overall
power play
of
goals.
all time with power play goals. He will definitely break that record.
He can do it
in
this
the next
week.
3 games.
Yeah.
Definitely. So great. He'll at least have one goal scoring record.
Look, if he stays, again, 70 goal pace is not sustainable.
I would agree,
also
but I'm not going to say he won't do it.
But it's also
the way that he's playing this year.
But that leaves him with 1 under Howe for second.
It's insane. That's insane.
What are you doing?
So, I mean, he'll definitely be third, I don't know, in a month at most.
Maybe less.
Because I think, if I remember correctly, he had to score like 36 goals overall this season to be in second, and he is halfway there already.
In third.
Huh?
To be in third.
Yeah. To be in third. And I think he's already nearly halfway there, if not over half. Yeah, he's halfway there already. So give him another month, he'll be in third. Hopefully barring any injuries.
Right.
No injuries, please. But unfortunately, Justin Schultz did go on the IR with an upper body injury.
Yeah.
So I believe that happened in the Carolina game. I didn't see what happened, but hopefully it's nothing serious. And he's out just like a weekish. Tell me about stuff.
Tell me about stuff? There's stuff happened in hockey
What
this
stuff?
week.
Oh my god. Tell me about the Pacific Division.
All right, Pacific Division. First up is Anaheim, who didn't do good this week. They're coming back to earth a little bit. Yeah.
Regressing to the mean.
I mean, they're still fourth place.
They still have a good record.
And
they gave themselves some padding.
They're holding off the challengers for now, but they went 1-3.
Yeah.
They lost to Nashville. They lost to Colorado. They shut out Ottawa, and then they got crushed by Toronto. So, a bunch of good teams.
Yeah, they lost to a bunch of good teams.
And
then they beat Ottawa. So.
And they beat who they should have beat.
Yeah.
They are 11-8-3.
So 500.
Yeah. So Raquel and Milano both had 2 goals and 2 assists.
Nice.
They're my top players.
Raquel.
He also is back from injury, so that's good. Good to see.
Yeah. Am I correct? What is Milano's first name? Is it Sonny?
Yes.
Such a funny name.
It's a great name.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were 3 for 9 on the power play.
Okay.
And 14 for 16 on the penalty kill.
Those are both fine.
Don't take 16 penalties.
No, that's a lot of penalties.
Again,
but
it's over.
You did kill 14 of them.
It's over 4 games, but still, don't take.
It's a lot.
16 penalties. So yeah, that's it. That's Anaheim. Calgary's up next. They're kind of struggling a little bit.
They finally had a bad week.
I wouldn't even say that, but last week was their bad week. They only played 2 games this week.
Oh, okay.
So it's 1-1. They beat Chicago, lost to Winnipeg. I will say that game got stolen by Hellebuck for Winnipeg.
Yeah, Connor
Last
Hellebuck's a very good goalie.
He straight up stole that game. They were 1 for 4 on the power play.
Well, they only played 2 games, I guess.
They got 4 power plays in 1 game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And then 4 for 4 on the penalty kill. Yeah. Both Lindholm and Gaudreau had 1 goal and 2 assists. So those were the highest points getters. But
1 goal and 2 assists, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, in 2 games, that's good.
2 games.
3 points in 2 games, not bad.
Scoring, they only scored 4. Nope, math is wrong. 7 points total. So, like, again, having 3 of those points is not bad.
Yeah, no.
They are 12-4-5. So again,
still good.
Still doing very
still a very
well.
good record.
And they're second in the division.
I think so.
I think they're second in the division.
I'm pretty sure Edmonton is first.
Well, we're about to talk about Edmonton, and
excuse me.
I know they're first in the
Spoilers.
Division. They went 2-1 this week.
Okay.
For 15-5.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. They lost to Dallas outright.
Everybody lost to Dallas this week.
Yeah.
Spoilers alert.
Right. And they beat Arizona, which you should be.
Yeah, everybody should beat Arizona.
Beat Vegas, which is a good win.
That's a good win.
Draisaitl had 2 goals and 3 assists.
Of course he did.
Yep. But I want to say Cassian had 4 points.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Good for him.
Cassian is seen as basically just a plug and a goon.
Yeah, he's like I guess a kind of a goon. He's sort of like, you know what he kind of reminds me of? He reminds me of like Tom Wilson, like light, diet Tom Wilson.
Yes.
He's not quite as abrasive as Tom Wilson. He's not quite as good overall as Tom Wilson. Yeah,
he's not as skilled as it. But he's still an NHL player.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely. But he's not like a big scorer.
Exactly, and he had like 1 goal, 3 assists, so that's good for him.
Yeah, not bad at all.
They were 2 for 8 on the power play, 6 for 8 on the penalty kill. So
the penalty kill, that's fine.
It was against Dallas that
that
did the damage against their penalty kill.
Did that damage.
But yeah, they're top of the division and sitting real pretty, looking good. Next up is Los Angeles, who.
Oh boy.
I know. They are coming back more to earth. They had that 7-game winning streak.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they had a 7-game winning streak. They're not supposed to be a very good team this year.
Both Anaheim and Dallas had that 7-game winning streak going basically at the same time. But they are 1-1 this week, losing to Toronto and beating Ottawa.
What else happened in that Ottawa game?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
They are 9-8-3 overall. I think I said that. 3 for 7 on the power play. 2 for 3 on the penalty kill.
Gotcha.
And Kopitar had 4 assists. But in that Ottawa game, something kind of interesting happened.
Jesus Christ.
Brendan Lemieux. Son of Claude Lemieux. Ended up getting a fight with...
No relation to Mario Lemieux.
No relation with Mario Lemieux.
Like at all.
No. Ended up getting into a fight with Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Whose dad fought his dad. A lot.
Oh, yeah. That's funny to think about, actually. For anybody that doesn't know, Claude Lemieux is one of the most famous, real dirtbag players.
He was good, but he was an absolute dirtbag.
Oh, yeah, he could score, but, he's infamous for things that he did. Especially, in the playoffs against Detroit.
He actually is one of the bases in one of the most famous hockey beefs, which is between the Red Wings and Colorado Avalanche. It's such a good beef.
I've watched, there's documentaries about it on YouTube where they just, show highlights from the games.
Sports Nation might have done a great one.
Oh, man, they're so much fun to watch. That was,
and it's brutal. Strictly about the beef itself.
It was always in the playoffs, too.
Oh, I know.
Because they kept playing each other either in the second round or the Western Conference Finals.
That was the Stanley Cup right there for the most part.
And then whoever won went on to win the Stanley Cup.
All right, so there's a little history, kind of not really between these two players.
Not really.
Not really. But
Oh, Brendan Lemieux takes after his dad was going to be my point.
Yeah, they got into a fight, and Lemieux was on top of Tkachuk and ended up biting him in
bit
the
his hand. Yeah, bit him hard, too. He drew blood.
Yeah. And he's got a hearing to see how long he'll get suspended for this.
He's definitely going to get suspended for that.
And then a bunch of people came out of the woodwork to say how much he sucked as a person.
Well, Brady Tkachuk went on record after the game in an interview and just lambasted Lemieux. And was like, he called him a brickhead, which is one of my favorite insults I think I've ever heard.
Called him gutless.
Called him gutless.
Everyone in the league hates him.
It was like everyone in the league, including his teammates, hate him. And then I haven't heard anybody come out to defend him.
I know one person who would defend him, and I also want to go back and make a correction from the first or second episode where I said Bertuzzi was...
Oh, Tyler Bertuzzi.
Was D'Angelo's best friend.
Oh, it's
Lemieux. I shouldn't have put that on.
That makes a lot more sense, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, and Tkachuk was just like, everybody hates him, nobody wants to be his teammate, he shouldn't even be in the NHL, and just went on and on and on. It was really 100%. Funny. I would suggest looking up also, what he said. It was kind of funny, too.
Claude is his agent, so...
Claude is Brendan's agent?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I know, right?
So no one came out to defend Lemieux as far as I know. And then some reporter who works for The Athletic, I forget his name, but... Wheeler, yeah. He wasn't at the game. He wasn't even at an NHL game that night. But I guess he heard about what happened, and he tweeted out, he was like, oh yeah, I can confirm everybody fucking hates him. And everybody was just like, whoa, you weren't even involved, and you just felt like the need to also shit on him. So he should definitely be suspended. I don't think I don't know about a super long time, but
he was offered an in-person hearing.
That means he's definitely going to get suspended.
It means at minimum 3 games.
I think it means at minimum 2 games. It doesn't matter.
It could be up to 5.
That's just
it could be up to 5.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't. I don't know if that hasn't happened yet. The hearing hasn't happened yet. I'm not sure if it's currently happening or they're trying to figure out what's going on. But I haven't heard anything about the length of it.
I've been looking because this happened yesterday.
They must not have announced it yet. He's definitely going to get suspended.
Oh my god!
There's a picture of Tkachuk holding his hand up,
and there's blood,
and he's showing the ref his hand, and there's a human bite print in 100%. His hand.
You can watch the fight and see right where he bites him.
It's insane. And
he's not Suarez. I don't know what's going on.
Tkachuk was like, babies don't, or kids don't even do that. Babies do that. It's just look up his response to the question because it was so funny.
He also started this entire rant by saying, "I'm only going to say this once."
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Moving on.
I would get that wound cleaned.
Oh my god.
You don't know where that mountain's been.
Nowhere good.
No.
San Jose. The Sharks.
There's some fun stuff with them, too. Kane.
Oh, I knew I was missing something.
Yeah.
Thank you. So they were 3-1 this week.
Good for them.
And they are 11-9-1.
Wow, that's a lot better than we thought they were going to be. We thought they were going to be dog shit this year.
100%. And then Timo Meier has 3 goals and 2 assists.
See, they have good players. It's just they're criminally underperforming, at least the last couple of years. They have Erik Karlsson, too.
Top 10 points-wise.
Really?
In the
Timo Meier's good.
He's very good.
Timo Meier's good.
1 for 10 on the power play.
Okay.
9 for 10 on the penalty kill. All right. The big news is that Evander Kane got put on waivers, and he cleared waivers.
Well, of course he did.
Of course
Nobody was going to take that contract and that baggage.
Yes, the baggage. He's on a massive contract. He is facing suspension for...
You know what? I'll be honest. If the gambling stuff wasn't going on, his contract's not that bad.
Oh my god.
It's $7 million, I think.
No, if he was playing normally, he'd be...
that contract would be like, oh yeah, that's fine. But with all that, he did clear waivers. Nobody's going to take that contract. I don't think they expected anybody to. But he did go to the AHL, I believe.
Yes, he's
practicing with the AHL
practicing
team.
with the Barracudas.
Oh yeah, I love that they have
the Sharks and the Barracudas
synergy with their team naming from NHL to AHL.
You see,
and they're both in San Jose too, which is funny.
The Islanders changed their minor league affiliates to the Islanders. And I miss the Sound Tigers.
Oh, they did change the name. I forgot about that.
It's just not as fun.
I know. Sound Tigers was a fun name, though.
Like, I don't like it when the minor league is the same name as the major league. Across the sports.
Yeah, I suppose.
I want a little difference.
Yeah, because the Penguins are the same way. Because it's the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
The Boston Bruins, the Providence Bruins.
Yeah, you're right.
The New York Islanders, the Bridgeport Islanders.
Sound Tigers was such a better name.
I know. Either way, whatever.
So he is in the AHL now.
He is in the AHL.
But I guess that means that he's allowed to play again.
Mm-hmm. Teams are looking to... They are looking to trade him. Right. They are willing to eat half of his contract.
They're going to have to for anybody to even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if anybody will do it.
I don't think anyone's going to.
I think it'll depend on what their asking price is.
And also...
It can't be that much.
Mm-mm.
So, we'll see.
And then how long the suspension's for?
Yeah, they still haven't said.
It's still pending.
Yeah.
And then also the vaccine stuff as well.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. We had a bunch of bad choices of Evander Kane.
Apparently he is vaccinated.
Then why did he have a fake card?
The same thing happened with Antonio Brown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it seems like they've lost their card. And instead of getting a new,
they just doctored one up instead.
They just made a fake one.
You can just get one.
I know.
Yeah.
They're not.
You just call your insurance company probably.
They're athletes. They're not the most brightest sometimes.
You think their agent would be like, no, I know, just call and get you another one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems kind of dumb, to get in trouble for that, especially if you are in fact vaccinated.
They're actually vaccinated. I think Antonio Brown was the same thing. He's vaccinated.
Weird.
He's vaccinated.
I get losing your card.
He got
just
caught with a fake card.
It's so stupid.
All right, I don't know if that's actually true, but
Antonio Brown, I could see him faking it because
he's
a crazy motherfucker.
But I can also see him being dumb enough to you're right, faking.
I could see either way.
Losing the card no.
I could see either way with Antonio Brown. I guess Evander Kane too.
I can see both happening. Yeah. Either way. All right, Seattle. It's up next. They seem to be turning back on track.
Hey, good for them.
Because they have...
Got to get them butts in those seats.
They are better than their record. The team-wise, is better than their record.
Good. Well, I think... did we talk about it last week? Somebody was like, hey, their defense isn't that bad. The goalie is really bad.
Both, yes. Yes, we talked about that last week. And Grubauer and both Dreiger stepped up this week.
Good. That's what they need.
Both had 1-goal games.
I still don't think they'll make the playoffs, but...
They might have put themselves too far in a hole.
Yeah. We'll see.
Beating Carolina 2-1. They did get shut out by Tampa Bay.
Right. It happens.
And then they beat Florida 4-1.
I mean, look.
Dreiger showing up for his own team.
The last game last week, they beat Washington, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just played probably 4 of the top East teams.
Yep.
The only one they didn't play is the Rangers, and
they came away with 3 wins.
Yeah, they beat 3 out of the 4. Oh, Toronto too, but they beat 3 of the 4 top East teams.
So this is a good sign for them.
Yeah,
and I am going to say their best players are their goalies because of those two games. Two games, a 35 save game for Grubauer against Carolina, and a 33.
I think if Seattle finishes anywhere close to 500, I would call that a success.
Yeah.
We said this before. Vegas was an aberration of a expansion team.
Yeah.
So
it's what Vegas needed to keep interest.
Yeah, especially with football coming in and stuff like that. But
Seattle's going to love any team that they.
Yeah, they're very good with
Vegas
supporting their teams.
Needs a good team at first.
Sure, because the Knights were Vegas's first pro team, and so they needed to make a big impression, which they did.
Yeah.
But Seattle maybe didn't need to make as big of an impression.
No.
But they're playing well. So.
2 for 8 on the power play.
All right.
5 for 5 on the penalty kill.
Great.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah. Can't ask for any more than that.
A team in the same area that is not good.
Oh, Vancouver.
Man,
I wish you were better.
They're so bad.
Wow, I could see their overall record on your notes. It's really bad.
6-14-2.
Ooh, baby.
0-3 this week.
I think the only team they're worse or they're better than is
Ottawa and Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
Ottawa's the same as Arizona right now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize Ottawa was that bad.
They only have 4 wins.
Mm.
But yeah, those guys. If it wasn't for those 2 teams, this is the worst team.
People had such high
even
hopes
then,
for Vancouver this year.
I did.
Yeah.
1 for 7 on the power play.
That's not
And
good
then
enough.
5 for 8 on the penalty kill. Their
That's
penalty
really
kill
bad.
is bad.
That's really bad, yeah.
Penalty kill is bad. There are a lot of reports coming out of Vancouver that, there's
They're kind of starting to just be like, we'll trade whoever.
there's splits in the locker room between
Yeah.
JT Miller, and there's rumors of JT Miller camp and then a Bo Horvat camp, and it's
That's
not good.
Yeah, of the 2 of those guys, you should probably trade JT Miller.
You trade JT
Because I think you can.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
You
And
can
I
trade
know-
Horvat, but he's your captain.
I wouldn't trade your captain, even with how bad they're doing. I wouldn't trade Horvat because they just signed him to a contract,
Mhm.
right? And I think it was before the Penguins game this week that people were like, JT Miller was like a late scratch or didn't practice or something, and people were like, oh my god, did they trade him? And no, I think he played in that game.
Yeah.
I think he just had a maintenance day or something.
They blew that game against Boston last night. They were
Oh,
up.
did
They were up 2-0 at least in 2 periods, and then lost 3-2.
Oh man, Vancouver.
So
I don't understand how their coach hasn't been fired yet,
it's
or their general manager. I know there's been talk,
there's been talk,
but
I don't know.
with
at
this
point.
record, and people were expecting you to maybe not win the division, but at least
Fight
maybe
for
be
the
in the
playoffs,
playoff
yeah.
race, and you're just 6-14-2. That is horrible.
And it's not like you even look good in your losses.
No,
you
they
were
look
looking bad.
They look bad.
Yeah, it's just not clicking. And you can talk about
Something's
how
amiss.
COVID last year wrecked them, and there are some long-term effects to COVID. Sutter hasn't even played yet.
I have seen that there's been a couple of reports that
Suter hasn't played yet. Sorry.
I think it's Sutter. I think you're right. Brendan Sutter?
There's too many Suters and Sutters in the
doesn't
league.
matter.
I can't keep
It's
track.
one of the 2 of them.
I
I did see a report that long COVID has hit some hockey players pretty hard. Clearly,
100%.
Brendan Sutter.
Yeah,
Brendan Sutter.
he hasn't played yet this
Yeah.
season, so
I don't
there's
think he would be helping that much.
no,
Honestly,
but
yeah, that sucks.
some of these guys might still be fatigued.
Could be. Yeah, it could be.
Dealing with long COVID.
I mean, it might be partially that, and partially they're just really bad.
I feel like coaching just overall
Yeah,
can
I don't
fix a group of guys
Whoops.
like this.
You think it can? If
Yeah,
they change it, maybe if they got more of a who's their coach? Travis Green.
Yeah.
Is he still their coach? Maybe if they got more of a firebrand coach, John Tortorella used to be their coach, but somebody like that somebody like Tortorella or Sullivan, somebody of that ilk that'll basically
fire.
threaten their families
Yeah.
to play better.
Yeah.
Because I am certain that Mike Sullivan does that sometimes. It's just I know where you live. Not really, but in a joking way. But
sure.
But maybe somebody like that would be better to whip them all into line. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know
I don't know
who
what this
a good
team-
coach would be.
I feel bad for the goalie.
If there are fractures in the locker room, like you said, somebody's got to go.
Yeah, 100%.
You can definitely trade either one of them.
Mhm.
I would probably trade JT Miller. I think he has enough value. You can get something back
100%.
for him.
I honestly do feel. I tend to feel bad for goalies when they're playing well, but their team
Thatcher
is.
Demko.
Yeah, Demko and Halak are just.
I forgot Halak was on Vancouver.
They're just getting shelled.
Yeah, their defense is not good.
Also, some of their offense has just been liabilities. Pedersen has just been an absolute liability this season, which you don't expect.
What happened with him?
I'm
sure people will be like, "Oh, it's the contract hold on."
No,
at this point, it's
if
not.
anything, it's long COVID.
Maybe in the
him.
first 5 games, maybe it was the contract holdout, but now it could be long COVID. Don't know.
But yeah, the Halak had a 39 save.
Loss.
That
really sucks. That's a real waste of a goalie performance.
That 4-1 loss to Pittsburgh was Demko was 33 out of 36.
Yeah, he played well from what I recall.
He played well, but there's sometimes those shots that you can't save.
You just can't stop them.
But yeah, bummer of a team.
Yeah,
and the city's also dealing with that natural disaster right now.
What natural disaster?
They had massive mudslides due to
a rainstorm. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, shit.
The surrounding area is wrecked and basically cut off and completely isolated.
Well, that's awful.
Yeah, no, they're dealing with a lot of stuff out there right now.
Damn, that sucks. God, the world is so cool right now. Let's talk about Vegas.
Let's talk about Vegas. Oh, best player for Vancouver was no.
Yeah.
Vegas was 1-2 this week.
Not very good for them either.
No, not very.
How have they not lost a game in overtime?
They've not lost. They're not the only ones because Edmonton's the same. They haven't lost a game in overtime.
Oh no, Carolina lost their first game in overtime this week.
They are 12-9.
That's still a good record.
It is a good record. They lost to St. Louis. They beat Nashville, and they lost to Edmonton. So they lost to a good St. Louis team, and they beat a decent Nashville team. So. Chandler Stevenson had 3 goals and an assist.
Remember when we were like, he's definitely not a first line center? I still don't think he is, but he's playing well.
He's making us eat our words. I've said this before.
Yeah.
This is.
I think you gave it to him before. He's played well this season.
This is like the 3rd week.
Yeah.
He's been the top player. He's been playing well. He's 0 for 6 on the power. Not him.
Let's start this rumor now. Did they need to trade for Jack Eichel when they have star center Chandler Stevenson? You heard it here first. Put Jack Eichel on the 3rd line.
Oh my God. It'd be an amazing 3rd line.
It'll definitely be an amazing 3rd line the way Chandler Stevenson's playing right now.
Mm-hmm. So 0 for 6 on the power play.
Your power play still sucks.
It sucks so hard.
I can't. Eventually, we should probably mention who's where they are ranking wise with power plays.
I gotta find the stats, the whole.
Right. We'll figure that out. But I know Pittsburgh is close to last in power play too.
But they're not last.
I think Vegas is last.
Vancouver's pretty low down there too. Their penalty going back to Vancouver, their penalty kill is only at 60%, maybe less.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Maybe less.
Oh my God. That's historically bad.
It's atrocious. All right, Vegas' penalty kill this week though was 8 for 10.
Yeah, well, at least you got that.
Yeah, it's where you want to be.
All right.
And that's where I'm done.
And that's the Pacific Division. Let's talk about the other Western Conference Division, the Central. And we'll start out with one of the only teams that's worse than Vancouver, the Arizona Coyotes.
Woo!
0-2 this week for a total record of 4-15-2. Bad. They were 0 for 4 on the power play and 3 for 5 on the penalty kill. Real bad numbers both. They only played 2 games, but bad. They led up to power play goals against Edmonton, who they lost to, and they also lost to Dallas. I did give their top player to Clayton Keller, who had a goal and 2 assists.
Oh, good for him.
They were all in the same game, but
that's what you gotta do sometimes.
He played okay this week, I guess. Jay Beagle is out for about a week with a lower body injury. No. Not their star centerman, Jay Beagle. He would have turned this team around.
Defensive centerman. Star defense.
So, yeah, Arizona's bad. I mean, we assumed that they were going to be bad. So, moving on to Chicago, who's also not very good. They were 1-2 this week for an overall record of 7-12-2. They lost to Calgary. They beat St. Louis in overtime.
Good for them.
And then they got shut out by San Jose, which is,
Yeah.
0 for 5 on the power play, 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. I did not give them a top player.
Of course not.
Because they did beat St. Louis in overtime, but they didn't really do a whole hell of a lot else. Stillman is on the IR with a knee injury for Chicago. Not much else to really mention about Chicago.
Right.
Not very good week for them. Moving on to Colorado, who has just been increasingly good so far this season. They were 3-1 this week. They beat Ottawa in a very high-scoring 7-5 game.
Colorado's figuring it out.
Yeah, Colorado's scoring a lot of goals too, and this is without Nathan McKinnon.
Right.
They beat Anaheim. They did lose to Dallas, and then they beat the crap out of Nashville. 4 for 18 on the power play. They're getting a lot of power plays. 6 for 11 on the penalty kill. That's really bad.
That's really bad.
Otherwise, very good. They were really bad this week on the penalty kill. Their overall record is 11-6-1, so they've very much righted the ship since earlier in the season. I gave their top player, their number one player, was Nazem Kadri, who has been playing so well this season for them.
Ever since he got kicked out of that St. Louis game, he's been
a monster this season. 2 goals, 6 assists this week.
Wow.
However, 5 other players had 6 or more points this week. Or no, I'm sorry, 5 players, including Nazem Kadri, had 6 or more points this week. Real good offensive week for Colorado. Not so much defensively, but good week for them. Their record is improving. No major injuries for them. Like I said, Nathan McKinnon is still out. I haven't heard anything about him being back yet.
I heard
he should be getting close, I think. Moving on to Dallas, who had an even better week. They were 3-0 this week. They beat Edmonton, they beat Colorado, and they beat Arizona. So they beat 2 of the other top Western Conference teams, and then also Arizona. Yeah. Their overall record is 10-7-2. 3 for 9 on the power play. 7 for 7 on the penalty kill. Their top player, I gave it to 4 players.
Wow. Because
all of them, Pavelski, Hintz, Robertson, and Klingberg, all had 4 points. So they're kind of scoring by committee on Dallas, which means they have pretty good depth.
Yeah.
And their depth is playing pretty well right now. So, good week for Dallas. No major injuries to speak of from them.
Their young guys are playing well.
Their young guys are stepping up the way that I'm sure the Rangers wish their young guys were stepping up currently.
But Dallas's old guys, except for Pavelski, aren't really doing anything.
Yeah. But they're still winning games despite that. So, if they can get to the point where everybody's scoring well for Dallas is going to be really hard to stop.
I think Pavelski also hit a milestone of like 400 goals.
Oh, he might have, and I didn't write it down. Possible.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. He should be close if he hadn't hit that. Moving on to Minnesota, who also had a very good week, 3-0 as well. Top of the division. 14-6-1 overall. Shocking team for us, I think. Cause
forgetting about Minnesota.
I think in our previews...
We had them on the outside looking in.
We had them on the outside looking in. We didn't say that they were necessarily going to be bad, but we did not think they were going to be this good. Really, really good. I didn't write down the top player. It's probably Crow Kaprizov. They were 0 for 10 on the power play, 9 for 10 on the penalty kill.
No, you did right there.
Well, that was in one game, though.
Oh, okay.
Kaprizov had 4 points in one game, so I'm just going to give the top player to him. He's been very good. So, thankfully for them, after giving him all of that money that they gave to him, he is still playing very well.
100%.
And a lot of his points have actually been assists and not goals, which is fine.
To me, a point is a point. I don't care how
it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. They beat New Jersey. They shit-stomped Winnipeg. And then they beat Tampa Bay as well. No major injuries for them this week. Moving on to Nashville, 2-2 this week, for an overall record of 11-9-1. Nashville has been just kind of just holding on. Yeah, just kind of just right in the middle there. They win a game, they lose a game. They win a game, they lose a game.
It's not how you make the playoffs, but it's not how
you never know. I mean, they're over 500 technically right now. Yeah. So, I mean, if they can keep it up, they might be able to snipe away a wild card spot. So
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah, they beat Anaheim, lost to Vegas, beat New Jersey, lost to Colorado. So, like I said, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Excuse me. They were 2 for 15 on the power play, so
bad.
They had a lot of power play opportunities, and they they lost by more than 3 goals to both Vegas and Colorado, but a power play goal here or there might have turned the momentum in that game. You never know, but with that many power plays, you should be scoring more.
100%.
And only 7 for 9 on the penalty kill as well. So not like super good. Their top player was Johansson, who had a goal and 5 assists this week. Good to see him scoring.
Yeah, no, he needs to step up.
Yeah, and no major injuries, no new injuries to speak of for Nashville this week. Moving on to St. Louis, who was 2-1-1 this week for an overall record of 11-7-3. They've come back down to earth quite a bit from a really hot start. They did beat Vegas. They lost to Detroit, lost to Chicago in overtime, like I mentioned, and then they beat Columbus. 3 for 8 on the power play, 8 for 10 on the penalty kill. Pavel Buchnevich had 4 goals and 2 assists this week for their top player.
Good for him.
Unfortunately, Klim Kostin and James Neal were both put on the long-term injured reserve.
Yeah, I saw that.
Kostin for a upper body injury, and then they did not disclose what the injury was for Neal. So, I'm not here to speculate what's going on with him. So get well soon, guys. And as for our last team in the Central, Winnipeg was 1-3 this week. Not great.
Not good for Winnipeg.
10-7-4 overall. So their record's still okay, but not a good week. 1 for 12 on the power play, 11 for 13 on the penalty kill. Lost to Pittsburgh, got shut out by Columbus, lost to Minnesota, and then they beat Calgary.
Yeah.
So, at least they finished their week on a high note.
Finished strong.
No top players for them this week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not a great week for them. No injuries either, though, thankfully. Well, that's it for me.
That's it for you? All right. I'm up with the Atlantic.
The Hot Atlantic.
Hot Atlantic.
It didn't sound right to me either when I said it.
Boston. I don't know what's going on.
Boston.
With baked beans. And they went 2-1 this week.
Hey.
They are 11-7 overall. They're solidly in the middle of the Atlantic right now. I don't know. I don't know about them.
Yeah, I don't know. Their depth is really not, doing anything. I think Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak are doing okay, but nobody else is doing anything.
No one else is doing anything. They beat Buffalo, which is hit or miss for them.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo's played okay this year.
Yeah. Lost to the Rangers, like we said, and beat Vancouver.
Yeah, they beat 2 not very good teams.
Exactly. They were 4 for 9 on the power play.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty good.
6 for 7 on the penalty kill.
That's okay.
Yeah. Patrice Bergeron had 2 goals and 3 assists as their top player. And Marchand had 4 points this week and also got suspended for 3 games for slew-footing Oliver Ekman-Larsson in that game against Vancouver. Yeah. He's back.
What's his nickname? The little ball of hate, I think.
Ratface?
Ratface, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, Marchand is such a good player. He is such a skilled player. But then he, slew-foots like no one else. And then licks people and does all... And
he only licked 2 or 3 people that one time in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, that's all.
It was an isolated incident of 2 games.
I think he stopped doing it because his teammates were like, stop doing that.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, he got suspended for 3 games. For that, he is a repeat offender.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he got suspended for that.
I'm surprised it was only 3 games. Okay, his last suspension...
Larson didn't get, hurt, did he?
No, he didn't. He could have, but...
I think usually they'll give a harsher suspension if somebody gets actually hurt.
Also, the repeat offender suspensions, I think, reset after, a year or something like that.
Okay.
So, because he didn't get suspended last year, it starts over. But yeah, no... I don't like Boston, I don't like Marchand, and here we are.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
He got suspended. Now suspend Subban.
Yeah, right. We're going to suspend somebody for...
Slew-footing?
Slew-footing. Suspend everybody for slew-footing.
Exactly. Subban slew-footed 6 people this year.
Yeah.
Marchand's only done 1, and he got 3 games.
Hopefully that sets precedent for the rest.
moving on to Buffalo, they were 1-2-1.
Okay.
So
not a very good week, but
they got 3 points.
Yeah.
They are 8-10-3. So
they've definitely come back down to earth.
Again, they're still better than what we thought they were going to be.
Sure, we thought that they were going to be like Arizona levels of bad.
100%.
But yeah, they're okay.
Their one win was against Montreal. They lost to Boston, Columbus, and then Detroit was an overtime loss.
Okay.
Tage Thompson was their top player this week with 4 goals.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 against Columbus.
Good old Tage.
1 against Montreal, 1 against Detroit. So he spread him out as well.
Scored all week.
The Montreal one was fun because he got lit up, got back up, continued and scored.
Nice.
And then stared down the dude who lit him up.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
They were 2 for 6 on the power play.
Okay.
And then 9 for 11 on the penalty kill.
I mean, those numbers aren't bad.
They're not bad.
Yeah.
It looks like a bomb blew up on my sheet because I forgot to write down the power play and penalty kill numbers for Columbus. So changed numbers entirely. All right. Detroit had 2 games this week. We're 2-0.
Nice.
Brings them to 10-9-3.
I think that's where we thought Detroit might be.
Yeah.
Like kind of in the middle. Maybe
making the right move.
Maybe they threaten for a playoff spot. Maybe
I'm
not that far out.
I still don't think they make a playoff spot.
No, I don't think so. But
I think they ruin other people's chances for a playoff.
Well, they're definitely going to be. I feel like they're going to be within like spitting distance of the playoff spot.
They beat St. Louis.
That's pretty good.
And beat Buffalo. 0 for 3 on the penalty kick. Power play. 0 for 3 on the power play. 2 for 3 on the penalty kill.
Yeah. I mean, those aren't great, but
it's not great, but it's a small sample size. They didn't have any power plays on the first game. Didn't have any penalty. Didn't have to kill any penalties in the second.
That's so weird when that happens.
And then Dylan Larkin has been playing out of his mind this year.
Captain Dylan.
He's been playing out of his mind with 1 goal and 2 assists.
Nice.
Florida. Florida's been coming apart.
Bummer. Well, I mean, look at that overall record, though.
Look at the overall record, but if you look at this, 11 of these 14, 4, and 3 are home.
Not so good on the road.
Not so good on the road.
Gotcha.
And Seattle gave them their first home loss.
Ah, I see.
So,
I don't know if I would say they're coming apart. They're maybe not
They're not... You're right.
They're regressing.
You're regressing a little bit.
Where they should be.
But those road numbers have to
get
back up.
You can't, you can't play like that on the road.
No. If you make your home a fortress, that's one thing.
Sure, that's great.
You have
gotta
to
at least
play
be
well.
500 on the road.
Yeah.
At least.
They beat Philadelphia in overtime. Lost to Washington, lost to Seattle. Gone over this at this point.
You've heard about it.
They were 1 for 6 on the power play, and then 5 for 7 on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
So, I don't really have a best player for him.
That's okay. I mean, they didn't have a very good week. So.
No.
Yeah.
I will say Barkov is back to skate.
Oh, that's good. Thankfully, that injury that he took wasn't as bad as it looked.
It looked so bad.
Thankfully.
It
looked
so
really bad. When folks at home, I don't know if you've seen it, but he kind of took a knee-on-knee hit, and he kind of ragdolled down to the ice, and usually when that happens, that is not good.
His knee kind of went 90 degrees to the left.
Yeah.
Which is like...
It's normally not good.
Not where you want it. Alright, so...
It's not where your knee is supposed to be.
After Florida, it's Montreal.
Nice.
Who is bad.
Yeah, they are. They won 1 game.
They won 1 game. They beat Pittsburgh.
They beat Pittsburgh this week.
I say that's payback for that 6-0 drubbing.
They embarrassed them pretty hard.
That Pittsburgh
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh gave them.
Yeah.
So they gave them 6 goals back, but couldn't.
I think 3 of them were empty net goals too. So that game was maybe a little bit closer than it looks like, but
either way. So 6-3 win. Lost to Buffalo, lost to Washington.
Yeah, lost to Buffalo.
Lost to Buffalo. I mean, it's Montreal.
Montreal is worse than Buffalo.
Montreal is. They were 0 for 9 on the power play.
Yeah.
3 for 5 on the penalty kill. They also just fired everybody.
Yeah, they gutted their front office.
They
fired their coach?
No, they didn't fire their coach.
No,
I was about to say they did not fire their coach.
They finally fired Marc Bergevin.
They fired Marc Bergevin. I can't remember the assistant GM's name. Begins with an M. Mellanby, something like that.
Oh, Scott Mellanby.
Yeah, Scott Mellanby. He resigned yesterday. The day before.
Well, according to him, I guess Montreal told him he was going to be the next GM, and then they were like, never mind.
Well...
So respect for him being like, well, fuck you guys then, and just leaving.
Bergevin recommended him.
Somebody else or
no,
Mellanby? Oh, okay.
Mellanby. Bergevin recommended Mellanby as a successor.
Gotcha.
The owners don't care now.
Yeah. I think the owners are pretty pissed with how bad the team is.
Yes. Molson. Yes.
Yeah,
the owner.
Molson. Yeah.
The
same guy who owns the beer.
Yeah, the beer. Molson's beer. Yep.
Yep.
I want to try to get some of that beer.
We can find it. Yeah. That's not that hard to find here.
But they're upset about how.
I mean, I get
everyone's playing.
What are they? 14-1?
6-15-2.
6-15. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Ottawa. 6-15-2. Yeah, that's really bad too. Yeah. No, I get it.
So. Yeah, I get it too. I feel like they should have.
There's some scuttlebutt that they hired somebody already to be their
Josh Gordon.
Yeah. To be their president of hockey ops or something like that. And then I've seen some speculation because as we went into last week,
the GM has to speak French.
They have to speak French, and I don't believe Gordon does. Maybe he knows a little bit, but he's not the GM.
Right.
So what I've heard people speculate is that they will hire a French-speaking general manager, but Gordon will actually be in charge.
Interesting.
So so whoever they hire will kind of be a puppet GM.
Ooh.
For Gordon, who is an English-speaking Canadian person.
Look at Molson being like, I don't care about this
anymore. Being like a puppet master and being like, I don't care about the French thing anymore. Because Molson is also not native to Quebec, I think.
Okay.
I don't think he is. I could be wrong with that, but I know he's kept the tradition alive because Quebec is very proud of their French heritage, and on and on and on. And I got probably more heated than I did last week about it. I still think it's kind of I get it, but like
you're pigeonholing yourself.
You're pigeonholing, and like really, it doesn't matter that much that they use a translator. It doesn't really. I don't care. If it was my team, and like I stated before, I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. If they hired a coach that was, I don't know, from Sweden and did not speak any English, I would not care.
Yeah.
As long as he got the job done, I don't care.
As long as he gets results.
But I understand that Quebec is very proud of their French heritage. And they've tried to break away from Canada before. Because they are so proud, or whatever. I don't know, but I still think it hurts you in the long run.
They're the Texas of Canada.
I guess, yeah, for different reasons, for the pride and being like, well, secede. Like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. Yeah. That is what I heard about, like,
Gordon,
kind of the puppet GM and Gordon actually being in charge.
It is interesting. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're on the hunt. I don't know.
There was somebody mentioned
guys are still left.
And again, I don't think Marc Bergevin did a terrible job in his tenure there. He was there for almost 10 years as their general manager.
Timmins
he didn't
was
do enough. Oh, he also got fired.
Yes, no, Timmins got fired. I saw a stat that
he was the assistant GM or something like that.
Since he was hired in 2003, Montreal is the only team to not have a 70-point goal scorer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, why haven't you fired that guy? You guys haven't drafted a 70-point scorer. No, they did draft Cole Caulfield, who looks like he might be that, not this year, but like...
We'll see what he does.
Eventually, maybe.
What? Did they draft Suzuki?
Oh yeah, Kurt Suzuki. It's not Kurt Suzuki. It's Nick Suzuki.
Is it? I don't know anymore.
Wait, is that the one that's on? Or is he on Vegas? Vegas has the other brother. I think it's Nick and Ryan Suzuki, are the brothers.
Ryan's not the one I get confused by.
I want to say it's Nick.
Nick is on.
I want to say it's Nick in Montreal.
Nick is on Montreal. Kurt is the baseball player.
Kurt is the baseball player. That was what we call it, a callback.
Yeah.
Because you said Kurt, I think, in the previews. But
well, I couldn't remember if Kurt or Nick was the right one anymore.
Did they draft him or did they trade for him?
I don't know.
I actually don't remember. You know what? I think that Vegas drafted him, and then they traded him with.
You're right.
For Tatar.
Yes, you're 100% correct.
I think that's what it was. In either direction, Nick Suzuki's on Montreal now, but so we'll see. I don't know. I still think it kind of pigeonholes you.
Yeah.
With your coaching and general managing positions to be like they have to be French speaking, but
I think Bergman needed to go.
I mean,
he was done.
I mean,
he was
no, done. I agree. And he looked like he was dead inside.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what coaches are available that are French Canadian. They already fired Claude Julien.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. They need a GM, not a coach.
Claude Julien's available.
Claude Julien's available. I don't know.
Oh.
Bruce Boudreau's out there.
I do. Barbecue Bruce?
Barbecue Bruce is out there, baby.
Just because he has a French-ass name does not mean he's French.
I'm pretty sure he is French-Canadian.
Really?
He's definitely at least Canadian. Because he was on Team Canada's coaching staff.
Yeah.
A few years ago. Maybe he's not. I don't know.
We might have to look
it up.
After this.
After the game.
We're
playing against each other right now.
I will say Josh Anderson did have 3 goals and an assist.
Okay. Yeah, let's circle back to our show. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Good segue right there. All right. Next bad team. Ottawa.
The Ottawa Senators.
Went 0-4 this week. And are 4-14-1.
See, I thought that they were going to be better this year.
100%.
I know that they're having COVID problems, but man, I thought that they were going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they were going to be kind of where Buffalo is record-wise, but they're not.
Nope. They did lose to Colorado, San Jose, Anaheim, and Los Angeles. 2 for 11 on the power play, 12 for 16 on the penalty kill.
Well, the power play's not bad, but the penalty kill's pretty bad.
Yeah. Tkachuk, I'm going to put is...
I love that you just refuse to not say the T.
I'm going to say the T every time.
It's a silent T.
Did have 3 goals and assists, but I am going to say he also had 15 hits.
And a bite wound.
And rabies. The 15 hits just seemed absurd to me, so I was just like, I have to put this here.
He's taken after his dad in that respect. I believe his dad was kind of a rough and tumble player.
Very much so.
Yeah. You okay? You got a little frog in your throat?
I have a frog in my throat, and I don't know why it's not going away.
Oh my god, he's dying, folks. He's dying in front of me.
I threatened to gurgle beer.
Don't gurgle beer.
All right. Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2-1.
Okay.
12-5-3.
Yeah, pretty good. That's where we would think Tampa would be.
Mm-hmm. Shut out Philly.
Right.
Shut out Seattle.
Oh. 2 shutouts this week.
Lost to Minnesota.
Yeah. 2 shutouts, though. That's pretty good.
2 shutouts.
Yeah.
So Vasilevsky's up there for...
Has to be. Yeah, with 2 shutouts.
Yes, he's the star. Stamkos also had 2 goals and 3 assists. So he's
also
the
pretty good.
Point getter. They were 0 for 7 on the power play, which is weird for them.
Well, Kucherov is still out, isn't he?
Oh, he's going to be out.
He's out until like
January,
February.
6 for 6 on the penalty kill. So that's good. Yeah. That's where you want it. And then the other good team in the Atlantic is Toronto.
Oh yeah, Toronto's playing really well.
They remember that when they were freaking out in the beginning.
Yeah,
they're the worst.
I remember when they were freaking out when even after they got shut out by Pittsburgh, like what was it, last week, I guess, or the week before. But they were like, oh, I'm like, you still have a really good record. Like,
it's 16-6-1.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Still not
Top
Good
team
enough.
I think the top team in the East.
No.
Is Washington above them? Did you say 16-6-1?
Yeah.
33 points?
Then they must be the top team.
Yeah, Washington is tied with them.
Weird. Last I looked, they were second in the division, but that must have been last week.
Yeah, I think they overtook
mistake.
Florida now.
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat everybody. It was a sweep of the California teams. They went out west. And
interesting. I think that is the first time they ever did that. Sweep of the.
I saw that. Yeah,
the California
it's the first time
trip,
they've ever done that. Yeah, they went out west and beat some butt.
Beat them Cali Boots.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. 2 for 6 on the power play, 5 for 7 on the penalty kill. John Tavares had 2 goals and 4 assists. And also the goalies.
Captain never gets criticized, John.
Never gets criticized. And Campbell stood on his head.
Yeah. Campbell's been playing very well.
I think.
Yeah, he's playing up to that contract.
I think Mrazek gets traded.
Who's their backup?
Whoa.
Oh, right. I forgot about... he's also playing very well. It's a small sample size.
It's a very small sample size. He already has a shutout.
What? Both games that he's played?
He's
3 games?
He's won every game he's played.
Somebody will trade for Peter Mrazek.
San Jose was a 34 out of 35 game.
Nice.
So,
yeah. I think you're correct. I think somebody will definitely trade them something for Peter Mrazek.
That'll help him for the cap, too.
Yeah.
Somebody
will trade something for him.
It's a smart move to trade Mrazek.
Probably to be a backup somewhere, I would assume, but maybe.
He could be a starter somewhere if he just
on one of the bad teams. Yeah.
If he doesn't get injured.
I don't know how much they would get for him, but yeah, it'll help with their cap situation.
To just relieve some cap.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea.
So, before we bring in our special guest again this week, how do we feel about this beer? It's pretty good.
I like this beer.
Yeah, I like this beer too.
I do like this beer. It's apparently, it's made in D.C., but the parent company is Swedish.
Oh.
That's fun. That's what I'm learning by looking at this can.
It's still technically made in D.C.
That's why I was
that's why
so
you were inspecting it before. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you were doing.
It's weird. I didn't know this, because I've known about this brewery for years now, but I didn't know they were Swedish.
Swedes make some good beer, apparently.
It's international right here.
International. You're welcome, Sweden. All right. Let's take a quick pause, and we'll bring in Jenny. All right. Jenny's here now.
Hi.
Back for another round of mascots. This week we're going to do the Central Division. I actually have their names in front of me this time, unlike last week.
Good job.
I'm a little better prepared this week than I was last week. So let's start with this. Is Howler, the Arizona mascot's coyote. You guys should follow along with us at home. He's pretty doofy looking.
You know what's funny? I've actually seen that exact, layout at Build-A-Bear.
He does kind of look like a Build-A-Bear.
He's legit just a large, happy Build-A-Bear.
That's my, public library's mascot telling me to read during the summer.
Oh my goodness.
Hey kids, read some books.
Bad.
Also watch the Coyotes. I'm Howler. Okay. Do you like Howler?
Little M for mascot.
Cute.
I don't.
He's cute.
I don't like him.
No? Okay.
He's very cute, but it's not what I would imagine, intimidating.
Oh, no, he's not intimidating at all. I don't think hockey mascots...
Clearly not.
They're clearly not going for intimidating, because a lot of them are real
his
doofy
paws
looking.
are busting out of his shoes.
Oh, that's true. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This is Moose from the Winnipeg Jets. Clearly, he is a moose.
What are you talking about intimidating?
Look at those eyebrows.
They're frosted.
Oh my god.
I do love moose as an animal, and it's a menacing smile.
He looks insane.
He does. He looks like he's gonna mess someone up.
He's got pilot goggles on.
Yeah, he's an interesting. It's the Jets.
Exactly, I like it.
He's a pilot.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I think he's honestly one of my favorites so far because he actually looks menacing.
He looks psychotic.
He could totally pump up a crowd any day.
He's like, yeah.
What, Chance the Gila monster from Vegas can't pump up a crowd?
No.
I did look it up. He is a Gila monster.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Clay looked it up too. It was
I have to look it up.
upsetting realization.
Again, Vegas just make him. I just wanted him to be a dragon because I felt like it looked better that way.
Makes more sense.
All right, moving on. We got Louie.
I forgot about Louie.
The St. Louis Blues mascot. He's a bear.
You know, I really think Build-A-Bear should do a promotion where they have
might.
of the mascots
They might in
as
certain
options,
areas, yeah.
and then you can buy like the jerseys. Because truly,
That's
all of
actually
these
not a
could be
bad-
like Build-A-Bear.
Call us Build-A-Bear.
Call us. We'll
Call us.
do a.
Because I think I wouldn't
Moose
necessarily
Moose
be hard
is better
either.
than a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, but that's not.
That's a great.
Moose has the psycho killer energy of something
He's-
better than. He has the psycho killer energy of a Furby.
He looks like he's been washed more than once.
Yeah, he looks like kind of a bedraggled teddy bear. He does.
That's not a word.
Bedraggled? Yes, it is.
Bedraggled?
Yeah.
Bedraggled.
You know what he means.
That is a word.
He's well loved.
That's not a word. But okay.
Yes, it is.
Continuing on.
Well, it's a good word that I made up then, apparently.
Bedraggled.
Moving on to Nash,
Oh.
the Nashville Predators mascot. He's a saber-toothed tiger.
Does he have a bow on his head?
No, I think it's supposed to be hair.
It's a bow.
No, in this other picture I'm looking at, it's definitely hair. But it does kind of look like a bow in this picture.
Trying to get laid in this picture.
I was gonna say,
hello,
that's
ladies.
like another Mr. Steelio girl right there.
Yeah.
There's been a couple now. He's I don't like the position. Maybe it's just this person,
Yeah.
but he's
He's
like
thrusting
presenting.
too much.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
presenting
We're
himself
looking at their glamour
too
shots.
forward and like just with a come in.
I was like,
yeah,
hello.
Come hither.
Check
come
this out.
hither kind of
Yeah.
attitude. I'm
Check
not,
this bot out.
Yeah, it's
Girl, look at that body.
It's an interesting.
Hey girl, what up? I'm an extinct species.
Oh
Alright, next up. Oh boy, I can't wait for this one. This is gonna be Nordy. Minnesota Wild.
boy. I don't understand what's happening with his head.
I don't know either. I think he's supposed to look like their logo with like the trees and stuff. Oh man, it looks really terrible.
Oh.
I think he's a bear?
This month at Build-A-Bear, Nordy for only $30.
His head is so crazy looking.
$29.99.
Yep.
Oh,
He's very
Nordy.
colorful.
Look how many teeth he has. Can you see how many teeth
Nothing.
they put
It's
here?
like a whale.
Wait, are
This is
those
so
individual teeth?
I think
Yeah,
so.
they
Yeah,
are.
Oh
look
my
at
god.
You
It's
see
like
the
a
lines?
baleen whale.
Yeah.
What that looks
In
like.
his mouth, he has a smile, but like there's so many lines to
That's-
distinguish teeth.
It looks
That's
like a
terrifying.
toddler learning how to smile from pictures. Is
Hey.
like the smile he's giving me.
Hey mom, look what I can do.
There's nothing behind the eyes, but
No,
there's teeth
I
and
know.
showing.
Oh
Crazy. Alright.
yeah. Next one is another good one. This is Victor E. Green, who is a undescribable horror.
If you know the
If you know the
Philly
Philly Fanatic,
Fanatic.
this is basically a ripoff of the Philly Fanatic.
I don't understand what shape his body is. I don't
pear.
Pear shaped.
like that he has no mouth. I don't
And no pants.
like that he has hockey pucks or hockey sticks for horns.
Yeah, he does. Look at that.
I don't like.
Horns or like a jaunty cap. What do you think?
He's
Sure.
he's straight
I'm gonna say
Porky
horns.
Pig in it.
I don't really.
Straight up Porky Pig.
This
in
is
it.
like nightmare fuel. Is what
That's
this
Nightmare
is.
Fuel. Oh,
Are you
we
kidding me?
He's-
I've seen the Phillies one. This is worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't the Phillies one have a mouth at least?
The Phillies one looks like it smokes meth.
Yeah.
Like behind the
Gritty
arena.
smokes meth.
Gritty
This
smokes
guy
meth.
looks like
The mouth is under the giant nose.
I don't know that it is. I don't think it is.
his head is a triangle. His body's a pear.
He has no pants on and kicky boots.
The fact that he's wearing a shirt
like
and
moon-
kicky boots means
moon
he is
boots. It's like moon
choosing
boots
to
on.
not wear pants.
I wonder if he's supposed to be an alien. Oh, you think he's supposed to be an alien because they're the stars?
That makes sense.
I've unlocked the
The
Matrix.
only thing I can think of is the Teletubbies when I look at that.
He does look like He looks like the Teletubbies,
The
like Hockey
face-
Brother.
Yeah, the face is different, but the rest of it could truly be
Yeah.
a Teletubby.
Maybe he lifts up that shirt and he has like the little weird screen on on his chest, like they do.
Time for Teletubbies.
All right, moving on to Bernie,
Mm.
the mountain dog, who is the Avalanche mascot,
Oh, that's
who
clever.
is shockingly enough a Bernese mountain dog.
I just feel like the face
No, he's a
is
Saint
not
Bernard.
accurate.
Oh, he's a Saint Bernard. I'm
It
sorry,
doesn't
yes.
look like right. The face looks wrong.
Yeah, it's
Because
kind of
the-
droopy.
Well, it's
Well,
because
there's so much black under the eyes. I feel like
Yeah, it's hard to
not-
distinguish
the-
where the eyes are.
the eyes aren't
also like set correctly. They're a little off center.
Yeah, I mean, this one isn't as upsetting as the other ones, but it also looks like a child's toy that's maybe
I
been
love that
washed
so many of these
more than
teams
once.
are just like, now we don't need a new mascot
Right,
costume.
like-
We can use the one we used 20 years ago.
Yeah, no.
Because that's what this looks like.
It's an
So bad.
80s.
He also looks, dare I say, bedraggled.
A new
Dare.
word by Bert
It's
Sadler.
not a new word.
Bedraggled.
It's a real word. We're going to
Bedazzled,
look it up the second we stop
bedraggled.
recording.
Fine, look it up.
Alright, and finally,
Oh no.
we got Tommy
Oh, no.
Hawk. The Blackhawks mascot.
So what crow smoked meth?
He's a hawk. How dare you?
I mean, again, like whose
His
great
eyes are so big.
whose great aunt sewed this for them?
His eyes are so big.
I just don't. Like, no effort was put into this.
None.
Truly, I could make that. Like, it's awful.
The San Diego chicken is better.
Like, Chicago,
Damn.
look at those eyeballs.
Those eyeballs, those might haunt me.
What are they made of? Are they plastic? Are they
got
felt?
it. I'm sure they're
They
plastic.
look shiny like plastic.
Yeah.
That's just. Where does he see out of? I don't see, like,
He
the
doesn't-
traditional.
Oh, I don't know, actually.
Maybe it's, like, out of the neck?
Maybe it's like a black meshing in the neck that we can't see.
It's like, why even bother having a mascot if you're going to put zero effort into it?
So he's a hawk, I guess.
If you're gonna,
But he's just like, he's obviously a black hawk.
All of these just
With
look
huge
like
blue
children's toys that they've had for years that they, like, blew up and made into mascots.
They look like the
100%.
toys that you could find in Toy Story 3 at like the kids' center
Oh, yeah.
that are
yeah.
just like all messed up.
like, if you're gonna put so much respect into like the Blackhawks and like the Blackhawk Nation, and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
Right,
like
why
that,
have
like,
that atrocious mascot?
right? Like,
Yeah,
put some
I mean-
respect into the mascot.
I just feel like, I
Make
don't
him
know.
a better looking.
Yeah.
All
bird.
of these are really bad. Like, I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
like, the point. Like, if they're supposed to be bad.
I don't think they're
actually
trying.
don't know at this point with the NHL because I guess I never really, before we started doing this, I never really paid that much attention to the
It's
hockey mascots, but none of
really
them are very
bad.
good.
No,
Like-
none of them have been, like, a quality craftsmanship.
And I think,
Oh.
thinking moving forward, none of them really are.
Like,
Don't
I've seen
mess with
college
Slapshot.
mascots.
I'm talking about Iceberg too.
Oh, iceberg.
I mean-
that's fair.
I've seen, like, college teams with better mascots.
Don't
Well, I mean-
mention BYU.
No, and even, like, Penn State. I mean,
Oh.
And the guy that
My
they hired to
college
be the
has a better
leprechaun
mascot than
at
this.
Notre Dame.
my D3 tiny school has a better mascot than any
That
of
is
these.
fair.
Like, and these
And
are
the
professional
guy that they
I know,
hired
my-
to be the Mountaineer at
teams
West
that make,
Virginia.
what, millions, if not billions of dollars every year. And they
No, my
can't
mascot
put-
was.
They can't put, like, $1,000 into a decent outfit. Like,
You don't think Tommy Hawk is worth $1,000?
no.
Sammy the Seahawk was dope.
Oh my gosh. This is, like, crazy how bad it is.
They are pretty bad. They are pretty bad. Well, that is.
Look up the word bedraggled this moment. They
Don't-
need to
Don't make me do that right now.
Scissors.
I'll look it up. Okay, fine.
Don't you all want to know?
Vamp while I look up the word bedraggled.
Bedraggled is not a word. Also,
Oh, look at
Draggled,
that.
is that a word?
Look at that. It immediately comes up. Bedraggled. Dirty
Hold on, wait.
and disheveled.
let's hear how it's pronounced.
Bedraggled.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
wrong.
look at that.
I learned a word
Look
today.
at that.
Oh,
Anyway,
so unfortunate.
That has been Buzzed Fucks. Jenny learned a new word. We looked at some psycho mascots. And that's week 7 in the NHL. Thank you for joining us, as always.
Only 48,000 weeks to go.
No, only 22, I think.
So much.
As always, you can follow us at BuzzedPucks on Twitter. Share us with your friends. Share us with your family, as long as they like hockey, because otherwise I don't think they really want to listen
Could
to
you
this.
subscribe to podcasts?
You can subscribe to our podcast.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Well, instead of comment, give us a review.
Like,
Say-
review, subscribe.
There we go. And we'll see you guys next week.
Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your ex-boyfriend,
I guess.
tell everyone.
So, yeah, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Bye.
Bye-bye.